Good to see you. There you go.
You know you're crazy for that. Yeah, same. I think it'll be a problem.
I made sure we win. I took a chance on it. I took a chance. Yeah, I just came up. I found a guy out of 62. Out of 62 years, I found a home. It's all right. What's your name, man? Excuse me. What's your name?
Nico, what's up, man?
What news station you from?
Unicorn Riot.
I'm sorry. I just want to make sure because you asked stories about me. You got all that.
I'll give you one of my cars. Here you go, Bob.
Make sure you ain't had no story about me now.
I had no story about you.
I want you recording me and adding me down my computer.
Oh, no, we're good. You want to tell your story?
Nope. Not right now. It's not your story. It's just in.
Okay.
Sorry.
You got a lot more to
My
share?
hand down.
When
I
you're ready,
squish easily.
after the trial, when you're ready, bring your checkbook.
I don't know about paying you, but...
Do they know what's going on? Or what's
Yeah, so we have George Floyd's family is in the coffee shop today, and Mayor Fries and the they're going to go up here and do an unveiling.
anytime soon?
Yeah, should be.
Or will freeze to death?
It is chilly.
At 62 years old, I can't let you know.
Welcome, everybody. We're here live in Minneapolis at George Floyd Square. This is the 2-year anniversary since anniversary since George Floyd was killed by Minneapolis Police. We had a stream a little bit ago that may have cut off while the family was walking into the coffee shop. The family of George Floyd is here to look at an unveiling of 38th Street.
Big fan.
Oh, thank you. I'm Nico.
I know. I'm Amy.
Amy, good to meet you.
Yeah.
Thank you. That street sign right there is going to be unveiled supposedly tonight and supposedly it's in honor of George Floyd. So it might say George Perry Floyd Avenue, unsure at this moment. The family has come and walked with Mayor Fry as well as City Council Member Jenkins. What's up? How you doing? How you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you out, man. Yeah, good to see you out, man. Yeah. Hey, you want to talk it all real quick?
Sure.
Okay, real quick.
Peace and blessings, all power to the people, man. We over here at George Floyd Square, man, standing in solidarity with the family, the people in the community. I just wanted to let everybody know we appreciate everybody coming out here. The unveiling of the sign, the candlelight, standing in solidarity with the family. Biden passed that act today, man. So we're making some type of progress out here. The president is obviously aware of what's going on nationwide, not just in Minneapolis, Minnesota, but with these mass murderers, these massive terrorist attacks from Buffalo, New York to Texas, Uvalde, Texas. Yeah, man, we must continue the revolution. And like I said on my live, this hits, hard for me, you know what I mean? Because I knew, George Floyd, but my son was just murdered at his school on February 1st in Richfield. So when this mass shooting happened in Texas, it stung me, you know what I mean? It brought flashbacks to me. So, we must continue to fight. The revolution must continue. That's pretty much what I got to say right now. My mind be going somewhere else. My body be here, but my mind be somewhere else now.
For you to lay all that out in a quick synopsis was quite impressive. But real quick, while we have you, talk about it real quick. Your son, man, much love to you. Sending my healing energies to you and your family. Beyond that, you were in jail on politically motivated charges. Can you talk about that at all?
Yeah. Well, the case definitely is dismissed now, so I definitely can, and they don't have a chance to appeal it. So I can talk about it. We was peacefully protesting at Judge Regina Chu house, demanding cameras for in a courtroom for Daunte Wright's trial. Kim Potter's trial for justice for Daunte Wright, excuse me. And even in that circumstantial, with their circumstantial evidence, they didn't have enough, obviously, to charge me. Even though they tried to charge me with felony harassment of the judge even said it herself. She didn't feel like she was intimidated. But the prosecutor office, Mike Freeman office, actually tried to push the charges. Once I had beat the case, my son was murdered. And I've said this numerous times. I've read different articles where they say that one of the boys that murdered my son is actually related to the judge. So my lawyers is looking in on this. We got people that's looking in on this across the world right now. This is devastating. Literally, it's devastating. But I've touched so many lives, man, over the last few years, man, and it's only right for me to continue to stay fighting. I will be pushing for harsher penalties for school ground shooters and school bus shootings, so I'm working on that. Hopefully the NRA want to help me with that and shut some of this shit down so excuse my language, so these kids will not get murdered at school where they're supposed to be the safe haven spot. Again, man, accountability, man, transparency, full transparency, and qualified immunity. Police Reforms Acts is getting passed, and we need to continue to push forward. We have to. We demand it.
For your son's case, the murderers are in jail waiting on trial?
Yeah, so there was two dudes. My son, Jamari Rice. He was murdered at Sika High School, which is an alternative school. He was playing football at Richfield, so he wanted to go there just to get his grades up. This was the second day at the school, and an 18 and a 19-year-old came and shot two people. The other person survived, and my son was murdered on the spot. Again, like I said, I got chills right now even just talking about it.
It's only 3.5 months. I don't even know how you're talking about it.
This is one thing I say, man, to everybody that's watching and tuning in. Please do not let it be too late. And what I mean by that, don't wait till it's your loved one to get out here on these streets, standing with the people in your community, helping your brothers and sisters out in need. This is something that we must and have to do. Enough has always been enough. Yeah, man, this is why I have to do it for the generations to come. I've been saying this for a long time now. And even in Minnesota, You know, it's a good thing that we have all these people out here, but we need some centers up now. We need youth for change centers that I've been talking about. We need YMCAs, Boys and Girls Clubs. We need an outlet for our kids, and that's most important right now. We need security, obviously, in our schools. You know, after when my son got murdered, the Sika High School had a metal detector in their school. They took that metal detector down, I believe it was a week prior to my son getting murdered, and now the metal detector is back up now. So, you know, help me make sense of this. You know what's going on as well as I know what's going on. They will continue to try to push their narratives and say, oh, this kid was a gangbanger and this. My son was about to be going to the NFL. He was a smart, good kid. He loved his friends and families. There's nothing that they can tell me about my son that I've known all his life. And you know what I mean? It's not possible. So I definitely do hate when people try to slander other brothers and sisters that's been victimized either by police brutality, gun violence, or racism just to try to get their narrative across or get their point across. That's not right. We need to stop doing that. These is human beings. These is real, actual people. These is people's sons, brothers, uncles, aunties, loved ones. So we must, like I said, we must continue to fight out here. Our organizations, Families United, is out here, which is myself, Breonna Taylor's auntie, Bianca Austin, Tanika Shannon, which is Fred Cox's mom, Jacob Blake Sr., he's in Washington, D.C. right now. He had met with the president earlier, and he will be in Minnesota as well, and Jolly Good Ginger as well.
Thanks. You want to rip, where can people find more information?
I'm on Facebook under Cortez Rice, CortezRice. I'm 32 of Minneapolis, Minnesota. I'm always live, and I only go live so other brothers and sisters can do exactly what I'm doing. I don't do it for likes, boast, clout, none of that. I do it so other brothers and sisters can get out here and do the same thing. If you got $2, it doesn't hurt to give out $1. You see some brothers and sisters in need that need clothes, blankets, shoes, or whatever, go ahead and help them out. We need to help each other out. All power to the people.
So that was Cortez Rice. You see people are maneuvering their way down to the Say Their Name cemetery because that is where a vigil is about to be starting shortly. I'm going to try to see if the unveiling of the street sign is still going to happen before we go down there and miss the unveiling. But also down there is where the people are gathering, so we will most likely follow the people very shortly once we find out. So it looks like the family is coming now, so we'll stay around here. So this is George Floyd's family. If you were around during the first live stream, you saw when they were walking up, they ended up going to this coffee shop, and they were with Mayor Fry as well as Council President Andrea Jenkins. This is the gatekeeper was mad at people for yelling at Jacob Fry.
I need y'all to back! Give us space to walk through! Back! Sorry, where y'all at? I need y'all to back! Give us space!
family. It's all security. It's all security.
Y'all ready? Long as they ready, you ready? Come on, okay, hold on. All right. Come on, let's get up in there. All right, wait. All the time to go up, go up, go up.
So George Floyd's family is about to pull off the ropes that are covering the new street sign that's about to be unveiled.
All right. Young Lord, we're going to say his name first. Say his name. George Floyd. Say his name. George Floyd. Say his name. George Floyd. 1, 2, 3. Pull him down. People that need y'all to get a safe, let us go.
I might have a second.
All right, we got the rope out. We're trying to walk out.
They still like he can't put him in the book.
All right, so you just saw the unveiling of street sign that says George Floyd Square here at 38th Street in Chicago. His family was the ones that pulled it off of the rope, or pulled the ropes off of the covering. Here's the mayor talking to the gatekeeper. He's surrounded by his freedom fighter security.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Just 2 quick questions.
Back on. Back on off. Wait. Give me a second. Wait, you haven't done anything. Why are you here?
Stop it, DJ.
Hey, Trav!
DJ, stop it.
They're just literally pushing everybody who says anything to Jacob Fry out of here. He's now holding hands with George Floyd's cousin, and now the freedom fighters are coming at me for narrating what's happening. What's up?
Speak the truth, bro.
Speak the
Don't
truth.
People
People were pushing everybody who was talking to Jacob Fry. That's the truth.
Knock it off.
Nothing is not truth about that.
Knock it off. Respect the family.
I'm respecting. Hey, yo, I'm standing right behind Jacob Fry, watching y'all push him. Well, I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm trying to sensationalize.
Sensational. Like, you wanna talk about what's happening?
I don't want to talk about shit. You tell it. Just tell it right. Don't be misleading.
So what was misleading about the situation? You weren't pushing anybody?
I didn't touch nobody.
Yeah, you didn't. You're right. The freedom fighters, the other guys.
Non-violent, bro.
All right, cool.
non-violent until I'm not.
Until you're not. You trying to threaten me now or something?
Stop.
What's up?
Knock it off.
You getting paid by the city threatening me?
No.
Okay.
No, prove I'm getting paid. Prove I'm getting paid.
Papa Bear. Papa Bear. Threatening me now. Thanks,
Never
Papa Bear.
threatened you, bro. You want some clicks? You want some clicks? You want me to?
I've done stories about y'all. I don't need
You want me
clicks.
to-
Your police department murdered George Floyd, so you get the fuck you audacity to come to
Watch out for the candles.
So as we walk by the So again, we're walking over to the Say Their Name Cemetery, which is right down the street on 37th. For some quick background, freedom fighters. We're a community safety group that formed out of the uprising. They turned into being a group paid by the city of Brooklyn Center, Brooklyn Park, Brooklyn Center.
What are you doing Friday?
Oh, hey, what up? Hey. How are you?
Hi! I'm glad you're still
That was like a
upright, man.
chorus. That was a good chorus.
I was like,
I liked
Oh,
it.
it's so good to see some of the old crew.
I know.
Are you all right?
No, but
Yeah, you're still living somehow.
like I am feeling capable of choosing to move forward, and I'll take that.
Hey, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Feeling capable of moving forward.
Yeah. Like I feel capable. Do you know this is gonna be a big deal?
All right.
Hold on.
I mean, that is important.
Yeah. Like I'm starting the next chapter of my life. There's going to be a couple things. But yes.
It's a great chapters.
I'll catch up.
Yeah, let's do that. So again, people are moving down to Say Their Name Cemetery. Briefly, freedom fighters are now acting as security for the city as part of their violence prevention program. So it's a lot of the folks you see here armed. And they were pushing out some of the people who were asking Jacob Fry questions. That was what was happening.
I know.
They're at the gravesite for George Floyd.
Maybe you guys know me as either Reverend or Nurse or Rev or Reverend Nurse, but I'm Reverend Nurse Jeanette Rupert and Rev. And we just want to give honor to God for George Floyd's life. And we also want to pray a prayer for the family. So if you are a religious person or a person of faith, feel free to bow your head, close your eyes. If not, just a moment of silence is sufficient out of respect. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, we thank you so much for change. We thank you so much for each and every family member that's here. Our hearts are heavy because we know why we're here. Because there's a brother, a son, a cousin, an uncle, a father missing at the dinner table. And before George Floyd was a movement, he was a family member to someone. So God, I pray you look upon this family. We thank you for Perry's life. We thank you so much for raising him for such a time as this.
Thank you, Lord.
He truly changed the world. He's changed our hearts.
Lord Jesus.
Through his death, we've all had opportunities to check our own hearts, our own biases. We've engaged in conversations and relationships and talked to people we wouldn't normally talk to and sort of fighting for change in our communities, in our workplace, in our homes, in our neighborhoods. And we will continue to fight for those changes in legislation with your strength, Father. So God, I pray you strengthen this family right here. God, I pray that you would begin to encourage their hearts. Encourage their hearts. Encourage their hearts, dear Lord.
You are not alone.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I take a moment of silence to look around. We are still here. We are still here. My name is Reverend Gia Star Brown, and I'm honored to be walking alongside you for tonight's vigil as we prepare our hearts for that time together. Please feel free to come closer, to stand back over this way, to come together as community and as family. As we begin to prepare our hearts, there are candles for every single person. If you don't have one, please grab one as we together remember and grieve and grow together. There are also, there are candles that are passing by here. There are also water cups. Tonight we will together come together as a community, Sankofa pour libation. Together we will cry out, we will remember, and we will heal us tonight. So starting off our time together, I will, as you are where you are, if you'd like to come down here to this space, we will start here. We will sing together And then together as we march, we will march over to the place. We will march over together to the place where George Perry Floyd took his last stolen breath. Gather your hearts, your candles, and your voices. Tonight, for the next hour, we will cry out and we will heal us. Amen? Amen. We have, as we begin to pass out candles, music will be. We are blessed to have the vocals of Jayanthi singing with us today. And so as we transition with the microphones over there, come on down. You don't have to be so scared. Come on down and closer together. Little rain never hurt anybody. We have marched in rain before. We have cried in rain before. We have prayed in rain before. We're not scared of any rain, are we? No. That's right. That's right. So, as candles are passed, take a moment of silence as we transition for the preparation of our vigil.
So we're here live at the Say Their Name Cemetery in South Minneapolis. That is George Floyd's family, along with Breonna Taylor's family and Cortez Rice on the left, as well as some other folks right on the sides of them. There's going to be a vigil that's going to be starting shortly.
out here for a purpose, and I want everybody to know. Red, white, green, blue, purple, it doesn't matter. George Floyd died for a purpose. George's life will not be in vain.
Right now, you'll see
I stand on that. And I've been standing on that ever since the day one I've been out here. Everybody needs to know that he died for us. God allowed this man to die for us. So search your heart. Don't let your natural man tell that you love somebody. Because your natural man is a lie. But let your spirit man speak to him. Speak to his spirit. Natural man. Now we're going to walk.
Not Minneapolis, you don't get paid by it. Brooklyn Center, you did. I hear that. You want to do an interview at all? Man, I ain't switching up. I did a whole piece of it last year, like a couple pieces. We are. That was true. It was 100% true. 100% true.
Actually going on. Come on, bro. That's real life we're talking about.
There was nothing unfair.
God, that we were telling them they want to come here and start a scene with Jacob. Like, that has nothing to do. We're here for the family. You know?
Understood.
You can't come here and respect that. Like, where are we at as humans?
Understood. Let's continue the convo at some point. Freedom fighters just said that they do not get paid by the city. Didn't want to be filmed at the point though. So we have a family, we're walking right behind them as they're going to go to the site of George Floyd's killing. Much love to you, man. So again, George Floyd was killed 2 years ago today, almost to the time. He was killed in the late afternoon, early evening. It was years ago when he was killed. There was a suspected counterfeit $20 phone call to the police by Cup Foods. And that's funny.
What the hell was going on there?
I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah. So it was just one of those.
Yeah, boy, I was getting tense.
So as we go back 2 years, there was specifically a call from
Family right here. Watch out, man.
there was specifically a call from Cup Foods, as we were saying, for a suspected counterfeit $20 bill. Police responded and ended up 15-20 minutes later killing George Floyd. Middle of the names
appreciate you, bro. I felt you told me since the first time I saw you on the video.
Y'all got the water. I got take a little sip of water. Make sure that the family has access to get in if they want to be able to get in. You guys thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, family.
This is what we need. What is going to happen? We need a cup of water for remembrance libation. As a part of the ritual and the ceremony, we will have you come.
Hey, you guys need to be back.
Media out. Come back, please.
The family needs to be up front. Do they have everybody? She need a mic. Grandma's right there.
Stand in front. Just stand in front. Just stand in front.
Don't go in. It's a remembrance pour. What is going to happen after the program is that we are going to have people march through. Pour your water in here as you also pour out your words of remembrance. Whatever it is that you desire to remember, whatever it is that you desire to hold up, or whoever it is you desire to remember. And as you pour that out, Fire Arts Center will a fire pour into a mold of a symposium.
Everybody from my hand back here.
And as you walk,
Let's back up.
Let's bag back.
so this is an opportunity for us
Let's bag
Let me
back.
get two steps, Nico.
together.
They fine. They can stay right there. Nico should be inside for a few weeks.
As you pour with water, as they pour with fire, please go to the back. You see Andy in the neon yellow has raised his hand. And please grab a cup of water to participate in this collective remembrance. Pastor Gia will rise soon, and she will give instructions again. And you will take this after brief words from the family and community. Everyone good on that? All right, thank you. So please wait away for Nancy and Pastor Gia. Thank you. Yep, we gotta get done. Minus all the cameras, minus all of the pictures, we are here to remember the life, the legacy of a family member. We are here today, our feet are planted today in this space as we commit every year to remember. You see, because
forget. They want us to move on. They want us to let it go. But we say, my sister still ain't equal, and my brother still can't breathe. Together we will continue to fill these streets. Yes? 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 Because Black Lives Matter! Yes? I can't hear you. I don't believe it. Win the struggle. Just staying in the conversation. Because we will not be moved. We will not be moved. Because Black lives. Because Black lives. Oh, because Black lives. Indeed they do. And we are here as witness and testament to that fact. And it won't ever change. It won't ever change. Tonight, we are here. We're going to hear from a couple of community members who have prepared incredible pieces to share with you about that day, about today, as we move forward. And we're together going to make a commitment. We're going to pour out in libation, and I'll talk about that soon. We're going to recommit today to staying in this struggle. That's what this is about, a commitment. If you were here for the cameras, if you were here for the fame, if you were here to get your name in the byline, none of that matters. What matters is that we are community. We are here together, and we will stand together, whether there's a camera in our faces or not. Whether there's a camera in our faces or not. So many of our siblings don't have the benefit of having a voice or a microphone to share their feelings. We speak for them. I stand here for them, for all those who don't get mic time, who still can't breathe. We stand here for them. We stand here for them. 2020, 2024. Someone remarks as we open our time together.
George Floyd! George Floyd! George Floyd! George Floyd!
Thank you, everyone. This has been a 2-year journey, hasn't it? And you know, we've all really have been through a lot together. You know, when this happened, May 25th, we all were traumatized together. We all, is it here? Oh, I'm sorry. May 25th, we all were traumatized together. I know that George Floyd is my nephew, but I've met so many people who had somebody in their life that could identify with what he's going through. And he touched so many lives, but he lost his life for it. But I do want to say this. Even though he's not here with us, the door is open now. We just need to make it equal. Yeah. So with all of you guys out there, Lord knows I don't know your names, but I see you as many as I can. And I want to say thank you. I love you. I love you. And continue to keep us in your prayers. We're going to keep you in our prayers. And the only way that we can get through this, not just unity, but we need to be unified.
Come on now. Say it again.
We can't just get through this through the words of saying with unity, but we need to be unified.
Trying to get to a better connection spot. The data keeps dropping, so we're trying to get to a better spot.
There's no place like this place.
Try to come to the backside.
Can't come this way. It's cut off.
I was trying to get the press. Well, I think we're just trying to get a better connection data rate, so we have to move over to this side. Sorry, y'all. If you couldn't hear what was said. It's probably a good few hundred now, possibly 1,000 or so, maybe about 400 or 500.
said him because he was my father's namesake, George Floyd Square. And they both gone, but they still here. And what he wouldn't like all this killing each other that's going on. So I'ma just speak that. I'ma let it be known. Chill out. I see the streets here. I see the streets here. I see everything. I love y'all. And they show me love every time I come here. You watch my back. I love you. And I'ma always tell y'all, because guess what? We would go to the higher ups and try to get the higher ups can't do nothing if we don't come to the people. So that's what I'm doing. I can go to all these big places. I'm coming to the hood. I'm coming to the hood, but that's where I'm from. Yeah, let's say it is. I want to say Brooklyn, but I'm not in my hometown. That's a lot of trouble right there, you know. I'm outnumbered, but anyway. Listen, New York loves y'all. Brooklyn loves y'all. Harlem loves y'all. We love y'all. Love and peace, y'all. Love you.
I just want to say thank you to the community. The community has shown its love.
Good to see you. Good to see you. We can see the street unveiling. And hopefully still see the speaker. Just give me a moment. Again, we're here. George Floyd Square. Second anniversary of his death by police. This street sign was unveiled. Thanks, Alex, for running the back end. Let me know if this data spot is okay. Again, we're here live at the George Floyd Square. We are taking a vantage point away from the circle of where people are speaking because we need to bring you this data. So that's why we are so far away. Hopefully you can hear. I turned up the mic for you all. Again, thank you for joining. That was Vine, V-I-N-E, with the spoken word piece. You can't buck the system. We're here at the 2-year anniversary of George Floyd being killed by Minneapolis police officers.
Love black people. I said it.
So what you're looking at over here is where the mural was. It's now the fabric of the mural of George Floyd's face. And they have the libation system set up where water will be brought to a certain spot, and there's also a big fire happening. So we will see. Okay, we're here live at George Floyd Square. This is George Floyd's family coming up. I think I might try to get to the other side. There's also press over there. Press is excluded from covering the right side of the screen.
What can happen as the family is navigating that space, there is there's an ant, a small ant that is missing. So we're going to ask you to come on up. Once you have taken your time to follow this path, that will conclude our devotion. Stay as long as you like. Place your candles wherever you like. Stay, place, pray, heal. Together, we will heal. Together, we will heal. Let's take a moment of silence for a moment.
So it's the family of George Floyd along with some other folks. And the family is now leaving. Hey, you want to talk about what?
I'm like, we pulling up the rear right
How
here.
was it? You want to talk at all about it?
I'm not blowing you off. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to blow you off.
Hey, no, you're in the middle of doing stuff. You want to talk at all about that?
You see?
You don't have to. I know you're in the middle of doing stuff.
Where's your sister at? She's over there somewhere.
You want to talk at all?
Talk about.
New Year's since? How you feel? What was the vigil like?
Yeah, it's
You want to talk it?
Sure, I'll talk.
Film?
Sure, we can
Okay,
film.
let's
Like, let's do it away so I'm like not
cool.
distracting them.
Yeah. How was it? You've changed. I'm sure your life has changed a lot since George Floyd was killed.
Yeah, it has.
Can you talk about the square? How you feel right now, 2 years later?
Wow, it's very surreal, honestly. It's very nice that people are still coming out, even with the poor weather today. The fact that we have a group of well over 200, 300 people is very beautiful to me. It makes the hard work that we put into the square for the last 2 years worth it, without a doubt. And like my heart is leaping with joy that their family can come and commemorate to this man who lost his life. You know, it's sad that it had to be this way and happen, but he definitely touched all corners of the world. in many ways. All people of all walks of life will never, never forget his name. So I'm just blessed to be a part of it. I'm blessed to be able to meet his family. It's been great. I'm gonna catch them before they leave, but it's been great. I'll try to get you again.
Yeah, for sure. You see the family is moving from this area. There was an unveiling of a street sign right here, George Floyd Square. And there goes some of the family members. People are continuing the procession for libations. Me? No. I've been here for a little bit.
Well, I'm glad you're here. Stay safe.
Thank you. You too. Appreciate that. You just get here?
No, I didn't, but I recognize you always.
Thank you, thank you. You got a moment to do an interview real quick?
I want to light some candles.
Light your candles, do your thing. I'll film you.
Still here,
Hey,
yeah.
do your thing. Hey, can you explain, what are they doing with the pouring metal? Molten metal?
I don't exactly know.
Cool, thank you, no worries, I'll find out, thank you.
A lot of stuff happens out here, and it's hard to always keep up, and sometimes I like not knowing, or I just come out and experience it, so.
Oh yeah, it was good to see you.
Yeah, you too. I know there's a schedule somewhere.
Okay, word.
Minneapolis glow, I believe.
Wow, it looks. I've never seen it glow like that. I mean, I know it's the downtown, but
That's it, yeah. There it is. Could I, though?
it could be the sunset.
To narrate a few for almost every single day, probably every day, Billy.
No, I mean, I've had breaks for sure, but and when it's windy and icky weather, it's harder to come out. But definitely, I try to get out here in the summertime and, you know, the fall and spring, even winter I've done it, but it just all depends.
Yeah.
But I started writing them again a few weeks ago, so.
Okay.
I had maybe a couple month break.
Really?
I think I started around the holiday and then had a couple month break.
Okay. Thanks for sharing. As Billy Briggs, check out his Facebook. He's been posting images from up here at the square continuously since the last 2 years. He's been continuously putting up candles and lighting candles as well. One of the community caretakers here. As you see the procession continuing to go into the area where they're doing libation. You see they have a bucket and they have candles. That bucket is for the water. People are bringing water and they're pouring the water, I believe, into the bucket. And then from there they're dumping their little cup out. And I believe that water will be dumped into the molten metal or something to do with the metal. We will find out about that in a little bit here. But this is sort of the procession of people pouring their libations here at George Floyd Square 2 years after he was killed, very close to where he took his last breaths. That is that blue paint you see. You can't really make out the figure, but that is a person, a rendition of George Floyd laying there. This right here in front of us is also the vigil site for Emez Wright, who was killed in community violence last year. George Floyd Square has been held by the community Global George Floyd Memorial Fund, something like that. Has been also running a specific archiving system here at George Floyd Square, continuing to archive all the protest art. There's a lot of things that have happened at the square and continue to happen at the square. There's continual push for accountability and to recognize all of the lives that have been stolen by police or killed by police, as well as you see some of the stickers as we were just looking at. Different struggles have merged here at George Floyd Square and connected and networked. If you want to know more about the square, check out our mini doc, Beyond the Barricades, A Look Inside George Floyd Square. It's a collation of a bunch of footage that we took over about a year and a half. It's definitely not the story of George Floyd Square, it's a story. Again, we're 2 years on since George Floyd was killed. We are not up in the mix right now because we're trying to bring you the stream. We have the data rate was getting really low when we were getting close to a lot of people, so we're off in the distance a little bit, bringing you an outer view. Again, thank you, Alex, for running the back end. Thank you all for tuning in. This is Nico from Unicorn Ride. Check out unicornride.ninja for more on our website. Check out our Twitter. Check out our Instagram. Check out our Facebook. We do have a short post about this that links to all of our George Floyd coverage. Derek Chauvin, as you all know, I'm sure, sentenced to 22 and a half years. He's now sitting in Oak Park Heights Prison, which is a maximum security prison, most likely in ADSEG still, administrative segregation. He is set for 2035 anticipated release date with good time. So 22 and a half years with good time brings it down to 13 or so, 13 or 14. Again, what you're looking at is a bucket that people are pouring water into. That is a libation for George Floyd and others who have lost their lives to police killings, as well as others who have just had to deal with the loss of a loved one or a friend. So we're here at the square. George Floyd's family has left. There was an unveiling of a street sign that says George Perry Floyd Square. We'll go over and film that in a little bit. A lot of things have happened in the situations here in Minneapolis, but nothing as far as accountability beyond the officers who were involved in killing George Floyd having charges. Derek Chauvin, as I mentioned, 22 and a half years after being convicted of murder. His three co-defendants, Thomas Lane, Tu Tao, and Alexander King, were all charged as well. They all were found guilty in a federal trial of violating civil rights of George Floyd. And that trial found that their actions basically created the death of George Floyd. Thomas Lane is pled guilty to state charges of manslaughter. He will be sentenced soon. He did that last week, and in 2 weeks from now, or 3 weeks, is the trial for Alexander King and Tu Tao, the other two officers involved in killing George Floyd. So we'll be seeing that. That is not slated to be televised at this moment. The trial of King and Tao will not be televised at this moment. There's a media conglomeration of people that have been continuing to try to push the Judge Cahill, I believe in this case, to allow cameras back in the courtroom. It was a very once in a lifetime almost thing to have the cameras in the courtroom during the Derek Chauvin and during the Kim Potter trial, because that has never happened in Minnesota, from my understanding, where murder trials of that magnitude, or even of any magnitude, were televised on that level. I could be wrong, but as far as I know. From there, we saw some accountability, as people want to say, again, when it comes to the specific people pertaining to George Floyd's killing. Now, people have been calling for different reforms and different rules and law changes and structural reforms to possibly not allow this thing to happen again. But right now, the way it stands is today, finally, there's been some move. Joe Biden, the president right now, has created some kind of push for a national database of fired officers, as well as prohibiting police departments from using military equipment and making federal agents wear body cameras. So all three of those things will not bring accountability for any police officer who's already killed somebody. But the body camera is a closer situation where it brings some transparency. Specifically in Minneapolis-St. Paul area, we had Amir Locke, who was killed by the police earlier this year, February 2nd. And he was killed Amir Locke, yes, that happened. But that is not the situation I was talking about. Amir Locke got killed in a no-knock warrant. That will actually also be specifically possibly touched on in this new bill that Joe Biden has signed. The no-knock warrants is going to push other states and cities to readdress the no-knock warrants that they have. Excuse me, though, I wasn't talking about Amir Locke. I was actually talking about Winston Smith, who was killed by federal agents in June 3rd of 2021. And Winston Smith. There's so many dead young men here in Minnesota. It is troubling. Winston Smith, killed by the police, I should say. There's also some community things that are happening. But back to Winston Smith. He was killed by federal agents. There was no body cameras on any of the federal agents. They were part of a U.S. Marshals Task Force, North Star Fugitive Task Force, which was a conglomerated slew of agencies that were involved, and they were all basically not allowed to wear body cameras. That is going to change. There was also a bunch of contention around that right afterwards, because a lot of the organizations and the agencies that were getting in their involvement with the U.S. Marshals actually were complaining about the reality that they were not wearing body cameras. Anyway, so that was Winston Smith. No justice for Winston Smith's family. The officers were found justified. If you want to know more about that, check out our website, unicornriot.ninja. We are, I think, the only media who's actually named the officers who killed Winston Smith. their names were supposed to be redacted from BCA reporting, but BCA publicly released reporting that showed the unredacted names of the 2 officers who were involved in shooting Winston Smith. So check out our website, unicornride.ninja, for that. It's also linked in the new article on George Floyd if you check out our website, unicornride.ninja, on the front page. We also have a Mother's podcast popping off, and we also have a lot of coverage of a lot of situations. We have Eric King coverage coming up soon with a lot just published very recently. Eric King is a political prisoner who's now been transferred. As we're talking about Derek Chauvin being in maximum security prison in Oak Park Heights, Minnesota, Eric King has been transferred to Florence, the Supermax, down there in Colorado. So we got some more coverage of that. We got a lot of contributions coming in from Palestine and Greece and Brazil and whatnot. So continue to follow our media. We also have a big Patriot Front leak. Beyond the leak, there was a bunch of audio that got dropped very recently, this last 2 weeks. So check that out at our site. We do a lot of work trying to bring context and engage and amplify social and environmental struggles. And that is our mission at Unicorn Ride. We're a 501c3 educational nonprofit organization, and we're here for you all. So thank you all for tuning in, and thank you all for continuing to support us. If it wasn't for your support, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be able to do what we can do on the level that we're doing it on. So thank you all. What you hear in the background is the music of Jayanthi, who was a singer here in Minneapolis area. The other band members, I am not aware of their name, I apologize, but they've been holding it down with some violin and some other instrumentals. Seems like some of the people have left where I can probably get a better vantage point while still streaming, and we won't lose the data connection. So give me a few minutes, I'll get up and move around. In the meantime, the last little bit I'll share, I think, about the Joe Biden and the change here in Minneapolis. Jacob Fry was here. He was the mayor. He is the mayor, as well as the city council president, Andrea Jenkins, who lives right up the street, or who lived right up the street for a long time. They have made no structural changes here in Minneapolis. The voters basically were not really, the vote didn't go through to get the police force. Excuse me, I should rearrange my thought process around how I'm gonna say this. The voting failed for a new public safety system. So people are sort of back at square one with no real political power within the communities, yet our city council is very filled with a lot of folks who are not white and not the status quo. And so a lot of people are sort of hopeful and hoping that the political will can start to revolve around that and start to change and maneuver itself into some of these thought processes that some of the city council members have gotten voted into to serve. So we'll continue to keep our eye on that. There's a lot of other local media that are doing reporting on the city council movements and different local scene situations. You out of here? Have a good one. See ya. We're gonna bring you over to the street sign real quick. Oh no. Hey, what's up? What's up? How you doing? How you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you. Yes. Hey, thank you. Hey. Good to see you. How you doing? Keep doing your thing. Thanks. Yeah, you too. So we got the chaplains that are sort of holding off the line. And that is a big old screen. Big old screen.
Yeah. You'd be surprised what you can do with these little phones.
Man, I tell you, that's nice. Oh yeah? Okay. Let's see what it looks like. Oof. What is this thing? That's all from that big thing? Nice.
It's actually from a phone.
Oh, from your phone, and then you put it on your pad.
Yep,
Okay, gotcha.
So that way you can see. Yep.
So this was May 29th, 4 days after?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the look. Or was.
It's a lot of things in here. But it's
Nice.
not the same anymore.
Yeah, no, it's changed.
It's definitely changed.
Mm-hmm.
They built buildings.
Yeah, they did.
They didn't build community.
You want to talk about it all? I'm live right now. That's a good point. Really. You don't have to, though. No pressure.
You got time?
Yeah.
You know how that is. You go on the internet. You get the quick little...
Alicia, what up? How you doing? Good to see you. Hey.
Did you get my porn?
I didn't get anything because I couldn't get any data close to the people because it was too bad. So, can you explain what's happening a little bit?
Oh yeah, you
heck
know I
yeah.
got you. You know I got you.
Heck yeah.
This space, or no, I get you exclusive. Come on.
All right.
Then you can see the mold first.
Yes, please. All right. We're getting a little exclusive by Malisha.
You know me, you got the sauce. Just watch this. Okay, go stand over there.
All right.
Or stand right here. And then you can give me this one.
All right. Explain what's happening. And tell yourself, introduce yourself if you want.
My name is Mylisha Smith. I'm one of the activists and caretakers here at 38th and Chicago, George Floyd Square. Dang! But, okay, I got you. Today is the second-year anniversary of the day that George Floyd got lynched, and of course, us here in the community is keeping his memory alive, keeping the sacred space alive, and keeping it sacred. Some of George Floyd's family came out today to help us celebrate. We started at Say Their Names. We lit candles. We got, if you turn your camera this way, they had got these cups that they're pouring in down at Say Their Names. They walked them up here, and now we're doing a community pour where they are, I call it manifesting the water. They're saying good words and, whatnot as they're pouring the water. It's called a community pour. And at that time, right before they started doing this, go ahead and turn your camera one more time. We did a community pour with bronze. And it is a mold of a Sankofa symbol. Sankofa means knowing where you've been so you know where you're going. In my words, that's not what the Google say. Right, it does though. But that is the mold that we decided to do this time during this event. We decided that we wanted to do something that a keepsake that we can keep as a resemble of what it is that we're doing here every year. Also, let's walk. Where you going? I'm about to bust through all these people. They just gonna have to roll with it. And we're walking. And yep, these are the people that are participating in the community pour. They're pouring water, and with that water, we are going to water the plants around the square with the water that the community is pouring in that pot. Okay. Hey. Okay, that's not what I'm supposed to be doing, but they put a new sign up that says George Floyd Square on Chicago Avenue. Hold on, let me turn with you. As you see, so I'm hoping that it's permanent and it stays here just like the space stays the space. I hope it remains a sacred space forever. A nice space for people to come, learn, speak their minds. I mean, y'all been to the space. If you ain't been to the space, I don't know what y'all been doing the last 2 years. But yes, so right now we're just celebrating, keeping everything alive, not just George Floyd, but the other lives that have been taken away by the hands of the police. And we're still trying to correct this injustice that we're living in right now. We're uplifting one another, we're loving one another. We're the village like we're supposed to be in.
That's beautiful.
Everything is everything, and I'm happy to see you out here. I'm not really shocked to see you or nothing like that, but I'm happy to see that you're out here and steady holding strong with us. It takes all of us, and if who gonna tell if you don't tell?
Well, thank you so much for the tour.
All right,
that's
most definitely.
amazing. I needed to know, and I know now.
I'm getting used to this
Yeah,
whole.
I love you hosting. I really do.
All right, but
it's
I'm
good
glad
to
that
see
you're doing good though. All right, I can.
Well, cool. Thank you, my Lisa. That was my Lisa. I'll turn this light off. All right, give me a moment. So what we heard, hopefully the data stayed connected, was the mold, the metal that was getting molded actually was creating the Sankofa, and the water is part of the libation. So it was two separate actions that were taking place over there. So it's good to have Malisha to give us a tour of what was happening. So again, we'll bring you over to this street sign before we take the stream down. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you, Alex, for running the back end. Let's see if we can get the light on and get a good angle of this. So, if you missed a little earlier, George Floyd's family, not all of them, but a nice little chunk, actually took part in unveiling the street sign. And so there was a sort of a tarp over it that was wrapped in ropes. Those ropes got pulled by George Floyd's family, and the street sign was unveiled. So we're gonna call this a night. It is now starting to rain a little harder out here. We're gonna protect our equipment. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for the continued support to allow us to continue to be out here to film these community events and film what we film. So again, thank you all for tuning in. Thank you so much, Alex, for running the back end, dealing with some of the data issues and communicating. And this was the 2-year anniversary of George Floyd being killed. If you want to know more, check out our website, unicornride.ninja. We do have new reporter reflections coming up. Those will be coming out soon. Episode 4 at least. So be aware for that. That'll be on May 29, 2022. There's also new Mothers podcasts happening. Those are a precursor to our video documentary film called The Mothers. There are 10 episodes of podcasts for the first season of the Mothers podcast. Check it out across podcast platforms, as well as our website, unicornride.ninja. So again, thank you, Alex. We're gonna bring. You can take a stream down. Again, check out our media across media platforms and the new George Floyd post on our website. Thank you all. Have a good night.